Hello, and welcome to this first in what I intend to be a series of short talks. And the title of the talk is Forgiveness. Forgiveness in the Aramaic. In other words, the Aramaic word that is translated as forgiveness has the meaning or the connotation of to loosen or to set free. And that's exactly what forgiveness does if you really think about it. Forgiveness loosens the ties on the heart of that burden that we feel against someone else or ourselves. Have you ever looked at and thought about what it feels like when you get in your consciousness a resentment, a grudge, or an unforgiveness? What does that feel like in your body? How does that make you feel? I know for myself, I feel a constriction. There's a hardening that takes place. It makes like a knot. And I can feel it at different places in my body. But a knot, it constricts that flow of spirit through us. Any kind of grudge or resentment. Whether it's against a resentment against someone else or a resentment against ourselves. It constricts that flow of spirit through us. And what happens when that constriction takes place? Well, we get that same response. The body does. The body gets a response that's similar to the fight or flight response. In other words, what happens is the resources that are available to our body are all channeled to the large muscle groups in our arms, our legs. And we get prepared to either fight against something or flee from it. Well, okay, that's all fine and dandy, and it's a necessary survival tactic. But whenever we're in this fight or flight response, the resources that our brain needs to make a good and rational decision are going to our muscle groups. So our brain is being starved. Our autoimmune system is also being starved because it's not getting the resources that it needs. Because all of the resources that the body can possibly send are going to those large muscle groups in preparation to run or to fight. So if we're holding resentment, if we find a resentment in our heart over and over again, you can see already what we're doing. We're starving that part of ourself. The autoimmune system is what goes about healing what needs to be healed and replacing the cells that are worn out in our body. You know, when we cut ourselves, we can look and in a few days the cut's healed. That's the autoimmune system at work. And we need that blood in our mind and in our heart and even in our gut. Because our digestion is so related to our autoimmune health, to the overall health of our body. So I encourage you to be aware if you're holding a resentment. And just let it go in forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean that we're saying that whatever the behavior was is okay. But it does mean that we're not going to let it punish us. You know, I heard a wise woman once told me that holding a grudge or a resentment is like stabbing your own hand with the scissors and expecting someone else to feel it. It doesn't mean when we forgive someone that we're saying that behavior is completely acceptable and we should not do anything about it. No, we should take the wise act, the wise move about the behavior. But it doesn't mean we need to hold a resentment in our heart. So when we forgive, we free ourselves from a binding that puts us in an unhealthy condition. So the challenge as we go forward into life is just to be aware. When I enter into a resentment, how does it make me feel? And when I do feel this way, to forgive, to let go, and follow what is mine to do in this situation. Ask the help of Spirit, because Spirit is always there and ready to help us. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you'll join me on Sundays for either online service or in-person service at Unity Church on the Mountain in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you.